I got some vegan water.
Oh shit!
It tastes like watermelon.
It doesn't taste like meat at all?
No meat. Believe it or not.
No meat. They finally found a way to get the meat out of water.
Unlike LaCroix, this is full of meat.
It's like, this barely tastes like blueberry, but it definitely tastes like pork.
It's just chicken broth.
That's their slogan. LaCroix, it's just chicken broth.
Honeys,
we're home.
All right, welcome to episode 5 of Sinclairity, a Dinosaur's Tale. This is your host. We're gonna need another Timmy, and
I'm Ben. Fist me up, hand up me.
Ben.
I'm Ben Handy.
Ben Handy up me.
I'm How Have You Been Lately? This is Timmy.
Now this doesn't make any sense. Like, if you're listening to this episode, you wouldn't know that we took a month or so break.
At least a month.
Yeah, you won't even know that, so it's not even important.
Yeah, but we're not even gonna tell you.
Yeah, we did take a little bit of a break, so if we're a little rusty, you'll know why. Just because we haven't. And the funniest thing is, this is the season finale of the first season, which was only 5 episodes.
So this is our Power Rangers rewatch podcast. Which one are we doing?
Yeah, we're doing the first movie. The Secret of the Ivan Ooze movie.
All right, so let's get back to our discussion on how they all bullied the guy who played Billy for being gay so bad that he had to quit the show. 'Cause that's a real thing.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's the thing. He said he was bullied by the other cast members for being gay so bad that he quit.
That's awful.
Yeah, he was easily my favorite character. When I got older, when I was a kid, I was a dick and I liked Tommy and Jason or whoever the Red Ranger was.
Yeah, I feel like Tommy probably bullied him the most because he's like a weird, born again Christian.
Joke's on him, he's still on that show, so he went fucking nowhere.
Yeah. Have you seen have you ever watched that show, The Toys That Made Us?
I started to at one point. I saw maybe some episodes about Legos or something.
So you didn't see the Power Rangers episode?
No, I did not.
It's really interesting.
That sounds. I was very obsessed when I was a kid.
Yeah, it talks about it's really just a history of the whole premise of the show, where it was just hey, there's this weird Japanese show, and let's take that footage and then we'll film the actors. And then we'll splice it together.
Did they take it from the show Kamen Rider, or was that something different? Because I remember that being related.
I don't know if Jesse Michaels was involved, but
fair enough. He doesn't
I don't
like
know.
Me.
No, it has a specific name, the name of the Japanese show.
Oh, okay.
But I forget what it's called.
I do love that it's just using a bunch of footage they probably got dirt cheap and then adding some American poor acting over it.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. That's why there's not a lot there's weird consistency between the scenes.
It's the most closely related to Funimation anime dubs as you could do with live action.
Yeah, it's just they take that footage and then they do the voices over it, and yeah, it's a ridiculous premise for a show, and part of me wonders how it got so popular.
I feel like everyone's surprised by things that I remember being a kid and my mom talking about how Pokemon was a flash in the pan, and by all rights she should have been correct about this. But
yeah,
it was, I don't know, I love Pokemon, so clearly it did something right in the formula for getting us addicted to it.
Yeah, it's a great game. I currently have Sword, and I know the new expansion's out, but I haven't fucking touched it in months.
I played a little bit of Sword. Every now and then, like, these kids that live here will be like, play this game and make it funny. Because they like YouTube. And I'm just like, I don't want to play the new Pokemon game right now. And then I go to my room and I play Pokemon Fire Red on my emulator.
Fire Red is really good.
But the thing is about those games like Fire Red, like Game Boy Advance ones and behind that, is if somebody removed the screen from my view, I'm just pressing the A button for a million times a day. Like, it's just a game about pressing the A button.
That's okay. That's the kind of games that I need, where you only use like a few buttons
and only a little bit of your brain. That's important to me too.
Yeah, like wrestling games, those come easy to me. Tony Hawk games.
Oh yeah.
Any skateboarding games.
Anything where I can be doing if I can be watching something at the same time, or like listening to an audiobook or a podcast. The games like that, like I played a lot of like RuneScape was a game you could put in 1/10 of your screen on the computer and do a bunch of other things. Anything where I could be overstimulated by other things.
But speaking of emulators, during our little break here, I played so much GoldenEye for the N64. That game is hard as shit.
So did you play it like on a Nintendo 64, or how did you do this?
I have a legal means of playing it.
Mm-hmm.
I also have a cool controller, which is just a Nintendo 64 controller that I can use on my computer.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
I have one of those. Because
you can't really play Nintendo 64 games any other way. Well, at least that's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree. There is a patch for GoldenEye on the computer that allows you to do it with mouse and keyboard. And it fixes the resolution, and it's amazing. It makes it like a brand new, like, beautiful game.
Is that the one where you can like play online too?
Yes.
Okay, I really wanted to get that at one point, but then I realized I don't think my laptop could handle the game.
I would hope it could handle it, because it's just GoldenEye. I would hope so.
Well, I know they refurbished the graphics. And
the one I'm talking about, they just changed the resolution settings so that it's like it doesn't really change anything else. It just makes it easier to see everything, really.
True. Yeah, but that game is hard as fuck, and it took me forever to clear every level on just Secret Agent. So
I don't think I ever beat the story mode. I know like 8 to 10 years ago, there was a period where me and like 2 or 3 friends were playing the emulator all the time, like just against each other, and that was a lot of fun.
I played it so much, but like Issa was there with me when I finally beat the game, and like the final level where you're on like the satellite, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And you basically have to chase Trevelyan like all around. And you have to shoot him a certain amount of times before he decides that he's going to the last part of the level. Mm-hmm. Well, it took me forever to beat this level because I would run out of ammo or I would die. So at one point we got to the bottom little platform part where you're just supposed to kill him, and I ran out of ammo. And so I got as close as I could to him and just chopped him until he died, and that's how I beat the game. It was amazing.
You should have recorded that whole process.
It was incredible. I wish I could stream video games better.
Yeah.
Because it was fucking amazing, and
that is amazing.
Only me and Issa were there to witness it, but it was hilarious. I was like, holy shit! I was so scared. I just kept hitting Z, like just chopping him, and then he died.
that is very clutch, as the gamers would say.
It was amazing. It truly was a moment that should have been recorded, because it was.
Yeah,
like,
I'm pretty upset that I missed out on seeing this. It sounds great.
Yeah. and I was like, holy shit, and like I just kept, because like that's a whole method in the game where you just get up to someone and you just chop them and they can't shoot you.
Yeah.
So like it's like a strategy in the
God,
game.
I hope I don't die like that. I hope some fucking noob who can't conserve his ammo doesn't chop me.
Well, that's the thing. When you play on a harder difficulty in the game, you get less ammo from. So you get less ammo, and then NPCs they can take more damage.
Yeah.
So it gets like harder and harder. So like you can just keep shooting someone in like the arm or the leg, and they won't die. And it's hard to. I mean, maybe it's just the sensitivity of the controller, but it's kind of hard to like actually aim with the controller.
It is hard. It's also, I think, automatically set in like inverted like axis like controls, and I really can't play like that. Like I remember trying to play Perfect Dark like not too long ago for 64, and it was just so hard.
That's another game I might get soon because I love that game, but I don't really like the. I don't like the single player all that much, but I loved the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Because not only could you like do it with your friends, but you can set up a bunch of NPCs and you can just play against them, and it would always be wild.
Yeah, it's always fun.
Like me and my neighbor, when he got the game, we had like these specific settings and specific game type that we would play, and we would do it to where if it was just like 1-on-1, we would have like an army of fucking NPCs, and and we'd always have one who was the turtle, which had like the shield, and then we'd have one who would just be like the killer, and then we would just set up camp. And I had one where it was like, because you could edit the way they looked, and like a few people I knew, their teammates, like they would all dress the same, and like I had one, and I named him Michael, because the head kind of looked like Michael Jackson, and then it had like a woman's body, and he would just run around with like the best gun with all of the body armor, and he would just be my bodyguard.
Did you play like Conker's Bad Fur Day multiplayer for 60?
Yes.
It was like the best.
Played that a lot.
God, it was so fun.
It was really fun.
We did that like I think it was like middle school it was high school. We had a Nintendo 64 with all the controllers in that game, and we played the fuck out of it like all the time.
Yeah, it was really fun. I remember lots of like summers playing. We would play that and listen to Drowning Pool's first album.
We would listen to like Dane Cook CDs. Like Bad Religion would probably be like the main things. And AFI. I was at my friend's house. He was really into like AFI and Avenged Sevenfold at the time too.
Yeah, we would listen to Drowning Pool, Bloodhound Gang, Marshall Mathers LP.
These are your Desert Island albums, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and the first Gorillaz album.
Oh well, that's good album though.
And then sometimes within the rotation we would do Enema of the State and what was another one that we?
I always forget that I was much cooler than you at the same age.
I don't think so. I mean, you would listen. That Bloodhound Gang album is good.
That is a good album. It's not creepy at all.
No, not at all. Because the lap dance is so much better when the stripper is crying. What an anthem!
Oh my god. So this episode 5 of season 1 of Dinosaurs.
This is the season finale, and they really dropped a deuce. This is not a good episode.
It's not. There were parts because I told you ahead of time that I wasn't super excited about recording this episode. I was telling our editor Zach about that, and he's like, "Well, why don't you just like rip into it really hard. I'm like, that's people do that all the time. There's a million podcasts about hating shit. I'd rather just intentionally like be distracted from the plot as much as possible and take us on tangents like just now, like you're currently, I'm treating the podcast like it's a teacher that is very easy to get distracted and run down the clock.
Yeah, we're just trying to fill your hour so you can, get your money's worth.
Yeah, because I'm assuming you paid for this, otherwise we need to talk. But so let's get this episode 5. It's the Howling, and it's what happens in it is Robbie's turning 15, and as a rite of passage, just like all other male dinosaurs, he has to go howl at the full moon. And they do this once every month, and if they don't do it, the world's supposed to end and shit like that. And this episode is essentially Robbie is bad at howling and also doesn't understand the tradition, doesn't want to do it, so he convinces people or distracts them from doing it, and they think the world's going to end, and then it doesn't, and they have to kind of resolve their issues after all.
Yeah. So the only good thing about this episode is it sets the precedent of Robbie being the best character, like I've said.
I think it's already been set, because this is like the third time he's been like annoyed about traditions and wanting to, because there was the Hurling Day episode.
Yeah.
Where he's like, we shouldn't just throw old people off a cliff, and everyone's like, fuck you, dude. Yes, we should.
Especially our mother-in-law.
Especially mother-in-laws, the things that people just hate. But yeah, this is another episode that solidifies Robbie's role in the show as being like kind of more like a thoughtful dude than you'd think he would be coming from his dad.
Yeah. So I guess let's just get into it.
Yeah, finally.
I believe the episode, it opens with, it's all of them on that mountaintop, right?
Yeah, Earl's like narrating. He's like telling Robbie about it, and it's showing like a scene of like the old ancient dudes doing the Howling Day ritual.
And it's all in the sacred book of Dinosaur.
Yeah,
which I still want to know what it is, like what's in it.
Yeah, and Robbie asks like who put it in there, and Earl just tells him some sacred guy, of course.
Yeah, like I assume that the number 1 in the sacred book of Dinosaur is you hate your family. I think that's number 1.
And you eat them.
Eat your family. That's like number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then like number 3 is throw your mother-in-law
off a train. No, that's a different thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I think one day we should sit down and we should actually write it.
Yeah.
We should write the sacred
because I don't think the prop probably exists anymore. I read that a lot of the the only costume that exists now is Baby Sinclair, because the rest of them rotted.
Oh my
which
God.
is sad. I guess the material that was used to make it like comes apart real easily, and especially in sunlight, and Baby Sinclair is all that's left.
It should be in the Smithsonian.
Well, Baby Sinclair is like cockroaches and Twinkies. Like, it's never gonna die. It's the one thing that stayed from this show.
If Rodney Mullen's like skateboard is in the Smithsonian, then we need to get Baby Sinclair in the Smithsonian.
Wait, is it really? Because that's
something of Rod. Maybe
he is.
Maybe
he's physically there doing a Casper slide.
Rod. Yeah, Rodney is really old, and he's from Gainesville.
Oh, is he?
Cool.
He seems pretty put together for being from Gainesville.
He's a true. It's weird to meet anyone from Gainesville, so yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a cool dude. I just watched a video on YouTube of him recently where he's working out like I guess like the physics of his skateboard tricks with this woman.
He also seems like a kind of like a weirdo.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I like that.
Yeah, I was like listening to people from like Bones Brigade or whatever talking about he just like stopped the van while they were driving somewhere and said he had to get out real quick, and then he just ran away. And they had to like reobtain him, but yeah, he just seems pretty interesting. So yeah, him and Baby Sinclair both belong in the Smithsonian, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we should tear down the Johnny Reb statue in Gainesville and replace it with Rodney Mullen.
Yes, please.
doing a Casper slide.
Doing a Casper slide. What else? What else?
So,
all right. Anyway, back to the episode.
So Earl's explaining the sacred book of Dinosaur, and he was like explaining to Robbie that if the dinosaurs don't howl, then the end times are gonna come, basically.
Yeah, and Dinosaur will turn against Dinosaur.
Yeah,
and like,
dinosaur on dinosaur crime.
It's like a dark spirit that they have to howl away. But yeah, and then like, you know, Earl tells him the real reason they gotta do this is because his mom sent down 150 invitations, and there's a dead rhino and 10 tons of potato salad downstairs. So it's like a big like event. Like, it's, you know, it's hard to find the parallel for this because
it's like a bar mitzvah.
Yeah, I would say yeah, that's pretty similar. But like that, I don't know. Also, the whole howling thing, like they have to howl or they turn against each other. I feel like I don't want to go back just like in the mating dance episode and say everything is a parallel to masturbation in this show. Because I don't like to work blue, but just at different times, I'm not sure. It feels like they're talking about jerking off.
Yeah, probably.
Or you know, or it's they call it PHS in this episode.
Oh my god, yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
That's the one funny thing in this episode. So yeah, so I was talking about not talking about, but in my notes I just have a thing about the 10 pounds of potato salad, but also a rhino. What? It's like,
yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we've talked about, they have like, he talks about running over an antelope in another episode in his car, and like they have like weird animals that are in this world.
Yeah, like the animals that come after dinosaurs are just coexisting with them.
Well, yeah, there's
like
cavemen too.
So yeah, after that,
he tells Robbie to ask him if he's been working on his 8 tracks. which is a funny thing. Like, he has these 8 tracks that are like teaching you how to be a good howler. And I don't know, this was like a thing at the time, like in Saved by the Bell and Boy Meets World, where like there were 8 tracks that like characters would listen to for self-help and stuff. And I wonder how popular that was in the world. Like in Boy Meets World, he has to listen to one that makes him better at figure skating or something.
I mean, self-help tapes are still a thing. Self-help podcasts, you know, like this one.
Yeah, this is a self-help one. This is by Tim Robbins or whatever. Tony Robbins. Yeah. What is his name? I don't know. This is a Dale Carnegie podcast.
This is our TED Talk.
How to make friends and then not make them then lose friends afterwards.
So yeah, so Robbie has his tapes, and we basically find out that Robbie can't do it. He doesn't have it in him.
No, he can't howl. This is all, I can't tell whether he seriously is bucking tradition or if he's just like embarrassed about his wussy howl.
I think he's just embarrassed.
I feel him. I would do the same shit then. But Earl is leaving the room and tells him, I better not hear any silence coming from this room.
Yeah, and I think it's later in the episode where it's the day of or whatever, and he's like, I remember it was my dad knocking on the bathroom door because he wouldn't leave. He wouldn't leave the bathroom.
He's like, what my dad told me, which is, get out of this bathroom now. He's like, doesn't really apply here. But yeah, we go to downstairs, and Fran is going over the groceries she just got, and Grandma Ethel is giving her a hard time about how much she spent on the rhino and that it needs to be it still needs to be disemboweled and cleaned.
Yeah.
And the baby is just screaming into the rhino's mouth, checking if it's still alive or not. So it's just like a quick scene before going right back to Robbie howling some more.
I think we also learn in this scene what Robbie's full name is.
Yeah, Robert Mark Sinclair.
Who the fuck is Mark?
He's probably some sacred guy.
Definitely
got a Christian name type situation in the show.
And then there's also within that scene with Fran, where she's very emotional about her baby boy, and then the baby, of course, is just like, I'm your little baby.
Yeah.
Shut up.
He's so worried about it. I like wait, what?
He always needs the attention.
Yeah. I like when it cuts back to Robbie in his room. He's like listening to music and kind of giving like going around his room listening to music, and you see the great posters in his room. Like he has a Ronnie James Dino poster.
Is that what it was? I was curious what. I guess I didn't realize it was Dino.
Yeah, and then he also has a Teenage Mutant Ninja Caveman poster.
I love that one. I wish I could get that poster.
No, it's great. I looked it up online, and some people have made like little T-shirts with that logo on it on like Redbubble and shit like that. Mm-hmm. But also, it's because like the interesting thing there is that the same like studio that did the costume design for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie did like the Jim Henson Creature Shop or whatever it is.
Yeah,
they did it the same. They worked on Dinosaurs too, so that's like a kind of an Easter egg situation. But like pretty much every show at the time had like a reference to the Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Exactly, because that was my favorite show too.
that movie that was like from 1990 was pretty awesome.
The first movie,
yeah,
yes. The first movie is fucking sick.
It was the biggest, highest grossing independent film from like 1990 until like Blair Witch Project came out in '99. That's insane. That's crazy. I didn't even know it was an independent film. Yeah,
like that. It wasn't it like New Line Cinema, or did they just like distribute?
That's probably It's probably similar to like like Juno was distributed by like Sony or some shit. Like, but I do remember the New Line Cinema logo at the beginning of it. But yeah, it was produced independently.
That's probably why the second one and the third one were terrible.
Yeah, I know. I thought they were like the second one was okay when I was a kid, but I know I still had a preference for watching the first one. But I did not like the third one.
The third one, as my friend from high school would always remark, it just doesn't exist. It never happened.
It's just like the third Godfather or the third Back to the Future.
Oh God!
I found out recently there's more than 3 Shrek movies, and I don't even think I saw the third one.
There's a lot of Shrek. There's a lot of Shrek movies, and there's a lot of Shrek spin-off movies.
I still I've said it before, and I think there should be a Kid Shrek TV show about little young Shrek. And Donkey's gonna be there, Kid Donkey, and they somehow forget that they met because that's how they always do these type of shows. The show will end with them both having amnesia.
Yeah.
But
so when Robbie's in his room, Charlene comes in and she just starts fucking making fun of him so bad. It's great.
Yeah, she I really enjoy this scene because he just is like already bragging about the fact that he's 15 and becoming an adult, and like he's like he's rocking out because he fucks and that's what he does. But Charlene, like in this scene, becomes my favorite character because she just emasculates him. Yeah. And it's like, oh, I'm so scared, Mr. Big Adult Male. And then she out-howls him. Like, says he has a wussy howl, and she howls him under the table.
Yeah, and he's just so frustrated that he has like a great line where he's just like, I can only commit to things that make sense to me.
Yeah. I love it. Like, right after she like does her big ass howl, it like cuts the Earl downstairs, and he's like, "That's my boy." Oh man.
Yeah. So after Robbie gets emasculated, we cut to Earl is on the job site,
mm-hmm.
and him and Roy are on lunch break.
That we say so.
Yeah, and I love it because Roy is a T-Rex, he just has to like put his head in his lunch bag to get his food out.
His short arms don't help him much.
Yeah, and then he starts eating, and then Earl brings up that he wants Roy to introduce Robbie on his Howling night.
Yeah,
like
it's a big honor.
Present him. Yeah, and all the while Roy's eating, and he's like thanking Earl, and Earl's just like for some reason he's just disgusted by this man trying to eat his lunch.
He's really against. It's pretty like he's talking with his mouth open, and there's live animal in his mouth, like. And the animal chimes in, and it's just like, this is like, listen, I hate to be critical, but you really are being pretty gross with this.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you got some plaque buildup back here.
So yeah, Earl's giving him a hard time about his eating habits, and like they're just like bickering at each other for essentially no reason. Like Earl would never have brought this up. Like it's not something that he would think it was cool that his friend was sloppy.
Yeah, and then Roy just lets his lunch leave. He just like spits him out.
Yeah.
which as we've set a precedent in the show is that the food, the prey animals in the show are just like, kill me.
Yeah.
So, like...
And also, if we're talking about precedents being set, in the first episode when he lets his food leave, it ends up becoming like his boss's secretary. So hopefully this food goes and gets a pretty like middle management job somewhere.
Yeah, hopefully, at a large corporation.
Yeah. But
so Earl's really mad, and I love that Roy is just like, he gets so offended. He's like, you embarrassed me in front of my wife.
And so Earl is still telling him like, come over, meet at our house for dinner, and tells him like an earlier time than necessary because he's like, you're always late. And like dressed nice, and Roy's just like pissy about this too.
Yeah, so we're already seeing the ramifications of Robbie questioning tradition.
Yeah, because I guess they're already starting to turn against each other, and it's not even Howling night yet. It's just earlier in the day.
Yeah, so we come back to the house, and they're all waiting for Robbie to come downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this whole interaction with Earl and the baby, where he's like trying to get the baby to say who he loves. Like it's like,
yes,
it's like
the baby just keeps saying "mama." Who's talking to you right now? Not the mama.
Yeah, and then from there, when Ethel comes into the room, they start talking about PHS.
Yeah, because Earl's being grouchy, which I don't really know how they can even tell any difference because he's already like a grouch potato. But he does like walk in, and when the baby first goes, not the mama, he's like, neither are you. Like, so he is like being pretty extra grouchy, and she says it's pre-Howling syndrome, PHS.
They get it once a month.
Yeah, and Charlene's like, I'm so lucky I'm a girl, la la. And this is the part. So it goes from being like, the parallel that it's trying to do there, I feel like it's just for the quick joke. It doesn't really make any sense.
No. Plus, like, they're dinosaurs.
Yeah, they lay eggs, presumably. I don't think they would, like... I don't know. I guess we don't really know. Maybe dinosaurs did PHS or whatever.
Well, I mean, when you think about the science, because this is a science podcast.
And this is a science show.
So, like, dinosaurs are related to birds, and
yeah, they're cousins.
Chickens, when they lay an egg that has like the eggs we eat, when it doesn't have a chick in it, that's basically their period.
You don't eat eggs. You're a vegan.
No, well, you disgusting fuckers out there who eat eggs and leave them on the pan and don't clean them.
Yes.
A chicken egg is considered like a chicken's period, so I guess dinosaurs would get their period.
Yeah, maybe. So chicken egg is a chicken period. What is a chicken head?
A chicken head is from the popular song "Chicken Head"
by 3 6 Mafia.
Yeah.
The popular song in 2000.
A woman of ill repute, if you will.
I don't like to work blue. But yeah, so it cuts back to Robbie practicing his wussy howl in his room. And Earl does that thing. This is like a thing in 90s shows a lot, where Earl like is like offering a hug to him. He's like, come here, and Robbie's like, what are you gonna do? Which is very like Homer and Bart-esque type interaction.
Yes.
Where he automatically assumes it's gonna be violent.
Yeah, which is also another show I am currently binging at the same time.
Oh yeah, Simpsons?
Yeah, and at the same time, I'm on season 11 of Degrassi Next Generation.
The other day, speaking of Degrassi, or like I found out I've been pronouncing it kind of wrong. I think I've been saying like Degrassi.
It's Degrassi.
Yeah, but it kind of sounds in between when people pronounce it here versus I always assume people in Canada are pronouncing things weird, so I pronounce it the way I think I would. But no, the other day somebody was talking about how it was about to be, I guess they were mentioning that it was going to be Canada's Independence Day coming up. And they mentioned something about the national anthem, and I started singing like "Whatever It Takes," which to me is the national anthem of Canada.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mike Parks' podcast.
Yeah, what's it called? I fell in love with a girl named Spike.
Spike. Yeah, the name of the song.
That's the Skank and Pickle song.
Yeah, and if you, this is going to be way in the future, but there is an episode with Jeremy Hunter of Scott 2 Network that just posted this week, and it's pretty funny. So you should check it out. But anyway,
cool. That's cool.
So yeah, Robbie is really nervous, but they finally make it to the top of the cliff there.
Yeah, and Robbie's trying to get his dad to talk to him about it, but he's like, nope, first we howl, then we talk. That's the way we've been doing it for a million years.
Yeah, so they show up, and as soon as they get up to the top, all of Earl's coworkers, friends, I assume they're all his coworkers.
Yeah.
They're all bickering.
Yeah, they're all already bickering at each other over some shit. I guess he must be in one of those towns where there's only one industry, one business that everyone works at. So they got to watch out for when like a Walmart comes in and then shuts all that down and then disappears and then it's a ghost town. But yeah, they're all up there bickering.
Yeah, and then they're just like, can we hurry this up so we can get to the settlement of grievances?
See, this part made me wish that Howling Day was real, because I've worked in like offices with a whole bunch of men working together, and it was just like that every day, like just fucking bickering and then telling on each other, and it was just like a nightmare.
Yeah, when I was the quote unquote catering manager for a casual fast food dining restaurant, that's what I would deal with every day.
Yeah,
is all the delivery drivers trying to like fuck each other over and take their tips.
Oh my god!
Like
when I was working at Domino's recently, the group chat was just fighting all the time, and I couldn't remove myself from it. I tried every way. My phone would not let me.
It was so bad. One day, I just straight up yelled at a dude. I'm just like, "Take the fucking paper!" Like I was trying to give him a piece of paper that told him like the orders he had to take. Yeah. And I was just like, "Just take the fucking paper!" And they had to like sit me down.
Oh my god. There would just be a few times like where I would snap for a second, like somebody would keep asking me some shit that I already answered. I'd be like, "I'm putting this shit in my fucking car," and they'd be like, "Whoa, what'd I do?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I gotta remember that I'm very quiet all the time at work." And like very polite and smiley, so when I like flip or do some shit, or they find out like a customer calls because I was like, you know, like some guy was being a dick to me the second I got to his door with pizza, and I told him like, "Hey, I don't have to fucking listen to you," and I walked away. They don't expect it. Like they're very confused.
Yeah, that's what they had to do with me. Like they had to just like sit me down.
I would be.
You're like,
I would know I fucked up if you snapped. I would not expect it.
Doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, you're generally like, I think most people see you as pretty bubbly, so like
I got mad one time at a Gutless show because it was the last day of this like short tour we did, and we were playing in Gainesville, and people were getting a little rowdy, and you know, most people like that, but I usually hate it because I love Fugazi. So like I was just like, someone kept shouting like, "Take your shirt off," and I just like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, I know. And I looked up from the drum set. I was like, what did they say? And someone told me from the band. I was just like, I just kind of like looked off. I'm like, fuck off. And then we started playing a song.
Oh my god. I remember playing a show years ago when I was playing trombone in a Tom Potato, and I remember calling somebody the C word during our set because they were being so fucking rude and shitty to everyone in the room. And I was like, I probably could have chosen my words better, but he was behaving C-wordy.
I think after every show we need a settlement of grievances.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So anyway, so Robbie does not want to howl because he can't.
Yeah, he says he doesn't believe in it.
He doesn't believe in it. He's like, we're not in the Dark Ages, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, because he's like, what would happen? And they're like, earthquake, flood, plague. He's like, this isn't the Dark Ages. This is 60 million BC. That's my quote of the episode. I meant to mention that even earlier. That's the quote.
Oh, yeah, and also, going back to Robbie's room, I don't know if you also noticed his calendar. Did you see it?
Yeah, his calendar is still counting down. Which brings it back to like the first or second episode. Yeah.
So he refuses to howl. Everyone's bickering, and then all of a sudden, like, the clouds cover the moon, and everyone starts freaking out.
Yeah, so he fucked it up for everyone, and they missed the howling day.
Yeah, so we come back to the house, and they're all sitting in the dark because Robbie brought about the apocalypse, basically.
Yeah, so they're huddled in the dark with flashlights, and Robbie's still like just in the corner sighing about it, and Earl's like, he's like, I don't want to hear from you. You brought about a cataclysm against all life on Earth.
Yeah, and they're like, wait, what's that noise? And then they're just like, it's the ice maker.
and the baby is so like, he just keeps asking like, are we dead yet? When are we gonna be dead?
And my Fran's just like, very soon, sweetheart.
and so yeah, they're preparing to die. Then the batteries die and go out on Charlene's flashlight, and Earl's like, oh no, the batteries are the first to go. So Robbie of course flips the lights on.
Yeah, and then Fran's just like, the lights work?
And Earl said he was trying to set a mood. A world-ending mood. We need one of those.
Yeah, like it's all part of growing up. Yeah, and then I love that they turn on the TV and it's discount Charlie's end of the world sale.
Yeah, we're dealing like there's no tomorrow. It's some late stage capitalism shit.
Yeah, and then they realize that the world isn't over. Like they like spend the night afraid, and then they wake up and the sun rises, and
they're all alive.
Another baby, he's just like, are we dead? And she's like, no. She's like, you promised.
That's a big mood. And Robbie brings the newspaper into the room that says the world not destroyed in ball of fire, which is what our newspapers say every day currently.
Yes. If you're listening to this,
we're still here.
In the future, we're still somehow here.
Oh my god, people are listening to this. So we're recording this. It's July 4th, the fake Independence Day. And people are going to be listening to this probably a month or two down the line. Like, I don't even know what's happened between now and then. Like, probably bears with laser vision, or like the Black Plague Part 8.
Yeah, especially here in Florida, the petri dish of America.
Yeah, Jesus, the penis and petri dish of America. I always think of my penis as a petri dish.
Remember, we're not a state, we're a monster.
Speaking of petri dishes, do you think the character Petrie from Land Before Time is a dish?
No, he's a dinosaur.
Oh, well, Littlefoot's a snack. So anyway.
That's right, folks. Stay tuned for our live stream follow along of Land Before Time.
Oh God, I wish.
So
it's a great cartoon.
So after they realize they're not dead, Roy shows up, and does he give the gift then, or he gives the gift of stationery, which is which I forgot about that. That is a very bar mitzvah thing.
Yeah, the pen and pencil set.
Yeah,
I don't know when he hands it over, but when he comes, he's like, he shows up and he's like, if the world would have ended, I wouldn't have had to come here and settle our grievances like this. Like, he's so upset that he couldn't have gotten out of everything by just dying.
Yeah,
but now
like,
he has to actually hash things out.
Sorry. Yeah, and then I love it when, like, Robbie comes in the kitchen, just like, "Hey, Robbie, how you doing?" And Earl's just like, "Don't talk to my kid like that."
I'll talk to your kid any way I want. Hiya, Robbie. Hiya, Robbie. That breaks them into the fight where Earl ends up being stuck inside Roy's mouth.
Yeah.
And Fran's just like, if you bite my husband's head off.
Just like, get your head out of his mouth.
Yeah. Like, it's Earl's fault that his head is in someone's mouth.
And he's about to kill him, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, baby Sinclair saves his father.
Yeah, which is totally a bad move.
Like, he bites Roy's tail. First of all, how much teeth does this child actually have?
I don't know. He was an egg for a very long time, so maybe he's pretty toothy. He's definitely mouthy. I do like that when Earl's head is still in Roy's mouth, Earl makes a comment about how Roy's talking with his mouth open, talking with his mouth full again.
Yeah, I love the lack of not mortality in this show. Like, no one cares about dying.
No,
no one cares.
There is a lot of ambivalence towards it. Maybe it's part of the joke about it being a show about dinosaurs, and we know that they're all dead.
Yeah, well, but not yet.
It's kind of a dark cynicism there, but the scene like recedes to like Robbie in his room, and he can hear them still fighting. And then he just reads the sacred book again, where it says, "Only by howling do we defeat the dark spirit, which will turn dinosaur against dinosaur."
Yeah, he finally, puts aside his skepticism.
Yeah, he's starting to see why tradition is beneficial for some people.
Yeah, and during the scene with Roy, Earl demands that Roy brings all the stuff back that he borrowed.
Oh
from
yeah,
him.
and Robbie uses this as like a way to trick them into meeting on the mountain. Like he tells his dad that Roy's gonna come return all the stuff he borrowed, and so they get there. They get up to the mountain now with Roy and Earl meet there, and they're just like, "Hey, where's all my stuff and whatnot?" And it becomes obvious that Robbie tricked them.
Yeah, I love Roy where he's just like, it's like one of those like, he's like, "There's nothing really left in my apartment."
Yeah. He the only thing he didn't bring was like some like barbecue apron, which was a gift. And he's like, "That was a gift for my friend Roy, not you." But they don't want to be meeting up there, and Robbie's trying to get them to howl together, and they're just like, "Why would we howl? Nothing bad happened." He's like, the world didn't end, but Robbie's like, "But your friendship's ending," and they're just like, "I don't care."
Yeah, which is Earl's only friend.
Yeah, so. He just pretends he doesn't care because he's a guy, and but Robbie convinces him by saying that, like, "Well, I guess you're right. He's not your friend. A friend wouldn't say he had a wussy howl."
So he emasculates them to become friends again.
Yeah, they have to howl each other under the table. They have a howl off. They howl, like, they start howling, and then, like, I love Earl's, like he's, like, has a dog sound, like, a roo, roo, roo. And then Roy's is like, ah, like, sounds like fucking Ray Romano coming. But,
yeah,
they get their
Ray.
howl on.
Ray.
Yep, it's there. They wear themselves out, and then Earl's like, "You know what, buddy? You can keep all that stuff I let you borrow."
Yeah, and they hug it out.
They start crying. Oh, they start crying because he references the pen and pencil set, and Roy's like, "That's the pen and pencil set my father gave to me on my howling day."
Yeah, because he doesn't have any kids of his own.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, jeez. And they cry and they hug and they head on. He invites him over for dinner.
Yeah, and then Roy just leaves all his shit on the mountaintop.
Maybe they just leave that for. They're just like, Robbie needs to take care of that shit.
Yeah, no, yeah. He's just like, he's like, "What are we gonna do with all this stuff?" And then Earl's just like, "The kid will take care of it. That's why you have kids."
But Earl has that moment with Robbie where he's like telling him that he did a good job, did a good thing here. And he's like, I don't understand why I believe in Howling. I just kind of do. I just do it. And Robbie's like, I understand.
Just like religion.
Yeah, that's the whole thing here. Is it's definitely it comes up a lot in this show so far, even where it's like a lot of things about like how different generations interact with traditions and religion, and how that kind of stuff changes, and how I don't know how younger generations feel about it.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's going to continue, like because that's like about like kind of the millennial generation is closer to what Robbie would represent.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I guess he would be like a Gen X.
Very, very late term Gen X, I would think, being a teenager in 1990.
1990, yeah.
Yeah, because I think like 1978, 79 is like supposed to be the first years of millennials being born.
Yeah, I mean, whatever the I don't know. I don't understand.
There's no hard
make any sense.
There's no hard data about what year it transfers. Everyone it's just different.
When I think of Gen X, I just think of people who grew up with grunge music. That's it.
Oh yeah.
That's what I think of.
I think of like a little bit. I don't know. I always think of more like Blondie and shit.
Cuz that I think of grunge, and then with millennials, it's just that we grew up with the internet. Like
yeah, but I feel like we were like right in that era of like logging on. Like it wasn't really there when we were born. Like it existed in some forms, but not in homes. And then during our early lifetime, we like kind of logged onto the internet. And by the time we were teenagers, it was like the main like form of how culture was dispersed in different areas.
Yeah, because I had AOL,
in
like the year in like 1999.
Yeah, we at my dad's house, he had like a bunch of AOL discs he would keep using, and then my mom had like some kind of broadband internet thing. They both like used computers in like their work, so we had a computer in the house, and I would just get on chat rooms and lie about my age, my gender, everything. Like I would just make so much shit up. Or I would use chat rooms for therapy. I would be like 12 and I'd go into like a Christian chat room like, somebody talk to me, I'm suicidal. And then, which is apparently not uncommon. I've met other people who've done that. It was a very weird era for technology.
Yeah, I mean, AOL Instant Messenger is the best.
Oh yeah. What was your first handle that you remember?
Gyrodactyl.
Gyrodactyl? What is that even referencing?
My two favorite Pokemon.
Which is a Gyarados, like Gyarados.
Gyarados and Aerodactyl.
And Aerodactyl.
At the time, I actually still love Gyarados a lot.
Yeah, I tend to use him in my party.
Yeah, I don't really care for Aerodactyl all that much, though he's not bad.
He's a good Pokemon for like Fire Red.
Yeah, I had an Aerodactyl in one of the games. He was part of my Godzilla team.
Godzilla? Was that like your dragon? Were you a dragon trainer?
He was Rodan. So I had Tyranitar was Godzilla.
Yeah.
Rodan was Aerodactyl.
Who's your like Gamora or Gamera?
I didn't have a Gamera. I had Hidora. I had Hidora, the trash monster. And I had who the fuck else? The big bug guy that was Heracross.
The big bug guy.
Yeah, I forget who else was in the team. It was a fucking sick team.
That's fun conceptually. I have not done anything like that creative. I always just like go for like I'll even just use Game Shark code sometimes to make the most buck wild team that would just destroy.
Yeah, this was a point where this was like my best Pokemon experience when I was the most into the game is when me and Terry and Will started Team Rocket, and so we were like, and I was like going over to Terry's house all the time, and we would like battle each other. This was like Black and White 2.
Just clarify for the audience what Team Rocket is.
some of it is cringy. But okay, so me, and my friend Terry, and my friend Will. Will came in later, but me and Terry started this hip hop group.
I gotta tell you, I'm jealous that you have a friend named Terry. That's a great friend name. Everything else about him, don't care, but that's great. Go on.
Terry is a great friend and a very talented musician, and Terry would take he downloaded the whole soundtrack for Red and Blue, and he took it and he would splice it with keyboards and drum samples, and then we'd rap over it, and we would take the song, like the song from the certain point in the game, and then we would rap about where you are in the game.
Yes.
So we had the first song we ever did was the music from like Cerulean City. So we wrote about battling Misty. So
I love this because I had this, like, I remember at this time we were talking about it, and I like was currently in the middle of writing lyrics for a Pokemon Red themed like rap album as well. And I sent you like my whole first song conceptually was like Because I Got High, but it was like that was the theme. Ash was late to get his Pokemon because he was partying was like the whole joke of my song.
Yeah, we did something similar with like the main theme of Pokemon. Like, so the song started with like the
yeah, I'd fucking go in on that beat.
And then go the and then he added like there's like some he added the drums to it, and it kind of did like a little like sputter like and then and yeah, like my first verse, it was just like, oh shit, woke up late, yeah motherfucker, check the date, it's the 1st of August, gotta pay my bills, catching all the Pokemon to keep my belly filled. And like
God, can we bring this? I want to be involved in this.
We've talked about going back and like re-record. Well, Terry wanted to re-record stuff, and I told him, I'm like, I have a new microphone and I could just do the vocals. Like I wouldn't even have to come. Like, just send me because he wants to like remaster a lot of the beats, because a lot of the beats are kind of lo-fi. Like,
yeah.
Not,
lo-fi is, I mean, you can make that work. That's hot in hip hop right now.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Just not
low
like,
quality, not like low.
Yeah,
not like lo-fi. Not like an anime girl doing her homework on YouTube for 8 hours.
Yeah, like if you listen to like the newest song we did, which was like 3 or 4 years ago, those sound really good.
Yeah,
like, and he put a lot more thought into it, but a lot of it just became us just trying to make each other laugh.
Yeah, there was an SSN song. I remember some lyric about sucking a dude's dick or something.
I would always talk about stuff like that in my song.
I gotta remember this line because it was great.
It was like insinuating like having sex with Pokemon.
Oh yeah,
like no, it was
that's what that licky tongue do.
That was, well, Will had a line that like, so Will was like Will's our friend, and me and Terry kind of started the group, and then Will kind of like got himself into the group. Yeah. But like he would always write really clever stuff. I always thought that his lyrics were really funny. Like Terry thinks I'm the best. I don't think I am, but Will would come up with, like, he had one where it was just like he was talking about having sex with Joey's mom, and it's like it was a line. It was like, we traded licky licky or something like that. Like, yeah, there's
Joey isn't the kid with the cool rat-a-tat.
Yeah, we made a diss song about him, just him.
Okay, so here's other than Licky Tongue, what that Licky Tongue do. Also, RK69 is something I thought of for Arcanine. And something about getting someone backwards like Muck.
That's
pretty good.
Come backwards. We did.
I might be wheezing, but I'm not asthmatic.
There was some really. I've written a few good ones. We have a song called Gary Joke, and it's a diss song about Gary. And
Gary Joke. I just got it.
and the song is so the song for when you battle Gary in the Elite Four, like at the end, we took that, and it's six verses with a chorus, and each verse is about one. It's like 4 bars about that specific Pokemon.
Yeah, and
we talk about what we do to that Pokemon. Like, there's a because his I have a funny one about his Gyarados. It's like
I just like that Gary has a Gyarados. It's Gary too.
It's like mix. Yeah, this is the verse. It's mix my sushi. Mix her sushi with my wonton. Slice your Gyarados like a motherfucking tauntaun. Anime freak saw you beaten off to San. That's the verse.
Hold on, where can I go to cancel you?
You can't, because Terry has deleted all of the old tracks off our Bandcamp. So
okay, that's good for when we blow up and become famous and people go back and look for old tweets.
Yeah, well, you won't find any old tweets, but you probably won't find most of the Bandcamp material that I've done. That is questionable.
Speaking of, on the subject of Pokemon, and this is great since I'm doing my whole distract from the episode thing, when literally there's 2 seconds of the episode left that we could discuss. They walk away, and then Earl thinks about the howling thing, and he perfects his howl. He gets his howl on. It fucks. It's really cool scenery. It reminds me of like Neverending Story. Like the art design on the set there. I really like the way it fades out. But anyway, the episode's over. So speaking of Pokemon, like there's this like tabletop game we've been playing with these kids here, because they're 6 and 8, about to be 7 and 9, and it's this game called Dragonwood, where it's essentially like you like have like a set of these adventurer cards, which is just like numbers 1 through 12 in different colors. And you use the cards, like if you have 3 numbers in a row, like 4, 5, 6 in your hand, you can use those to do a strike attack. Or if you have 3 of the same number, like 3 5s, you can do like a stomp attack, and you roll the amount of dice that match it. So if you have like 5 numbers in a row, you can roll 5 dice, and the number of damage points you do against monsters that get drawn out of a different deck. So, and then you eventually like have to defeat these dragons at the end, and you get to collect those, and then you see who collected the most monsters. But we like play as if we're on a team. But I still want to know at the end, like, who was the best on the team, just so I can make sure I won. But without anyone's feelings getting hurt. But I've been working. I have like an Excel sheet, like where I'm working on replacing. Like, we're gonna make a Pokemon version of the deck, and I've like recorded all the stats of every card onto this Excel sheet, and then like changed like these bats are gonna be like, there's gonna be like a Zubat and a Pikachu and a Jigglypuff, and then like instead of the 2 dragons at the end, it's Mew and Mewtwo are the 2 main ones to catch. And then there's like all the Eevee evolutions are in it, which is pretty much the only one that goes out of the first like generation, because these kids are obsessed with the evolutions. It's my partner's kids. So like those are in there, and then I have like Zapdos and Moltres and Articuno and Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur, and then just a few mid-level Pokemon and low-level Pokemon. But it's been a lot of fun so far. I'm very not good at anything art, but I have like I have some PDFs that I've been editing of like all the cards, and it's gonna end up like I'm waiting for some card stock to come in the mail for me to print them out. Hopefully I can get this done by their birthday at the end of the month.
That's very cool.
Yeah, they like changing things to be about Pokemon, like as much as they can.
Yeah,
they're very obsessed.
That it's still resonates with younger kids.
I know, it's pretty cool. Like I posted earlier a video, like Aaliyah was showing me her Minecraft, and she like made like, she always makes these like little worlds of like Pokemon stuff and Adventure Time stuff and Harry Potter stuff. And it's I don't know, it's pretty neat.
The Minecraft is crazy. Like,
it is.
Little kids are like just, I don't know, man. They're crazy.
It's cool. It's definitely out of like video games I can imagine like being cool that they're addicted to. It's definitely a cool one, because like it gives them infinite room for creativity. Like, even like Sims has a lot of like parameters that block you from just being like, you know, if you're an adult playing Sims, you can definitely do some computer modding and like load your own textures and stuff. But like Minecraft makes it just very accessible to just do what you want to do with the game. Like they're playing as like a cat that flies around and like they have like just little secret bases they create everywhere, and they spend, when they're not playing, they're watching YouTube videos of people playing. So it's,
yeah, that's the one weird thing. Like, I love how creative like younger kids are nowadays, but also like the whole like watching people play video games on YouTube is so weird to me.
It's weird. Like, I do a little bit of it myself, I guess. Like, I more so watch like fully like directed videos though, for the most part, like where there's a concept and they made a video and edited some stuff together, but not so much just like somebody streaming their like messing around.
Yeah, like it would have been really funny, like we were discussing earlier, with me playing GoldenEye.
Yeah, that would have been a good video. But that's what they watch.
Yeah, like I wouldn't sit there though and watch me fail so many times before that. Like that would have to be like, you know, like donkey edited.
Yeah,
you know?
that's kind of what I think about when I'm like trying to, because I downloaded a bunch of like emulators and ROMs recently, and I bought some games on Steam that were on sale. Mostly with the idea of recording myself doing dumb shit, like especially with like Super Nintendo games. I really like, you know, I like those machinima type videos of like editing voiceovers and creating little scenes. And I think those would be really funny with a bunch of like different types of games where I haven't seen it done yet, like the Terminator Super Nintendo game or something with a voiceover. Like there's a lot of really just like games I would probably never play other than for the fact that I think I can make a dumb video.
One of my favorites is Up Down Down, which is Xavier Woods from the WWE. His YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
He does weekly. He does him and another wrestler, Tyler Breeze. They play one of the Raw versus SmackDown games.
Yeah.
And in that game, they added a feature which people have been dying for them to bring back, which is like general manager mode. And like they split up the rosters between Raw and SmackDown, and you can do a draft, and you can put different wrestlers on your roster, and then you also have a budget, and like you have money that you have to spend on like the weekly shows and then the pay-per-views, but it's also like you can play like 2-player, and one person can control one show and one person controls the other, and they basically have like a competition to like gain a fan base. Like if this show was better than his show, like Tyler's show is better than Xavier's show, they would like trade fan base, and it gives you like a report of like how many people watch the show and stuff like that. And that shit's really cool to me. That's really interesting.
Yeah, that is.
There's a few games like that. Like there's a new one that just came out I think it came out on Steam. Or it might be free, but it's something similar to that where you can have your own like TV show, and then you can write the storylines and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's like game development creator games and shit like that. Those are those are pretty fun.
Yeah, like the wrestling ones are very interesting to me. I try to do it with the newer games, but it's not the same because like you can have your own shows, and you can manage your roster, and you can set up rivalries and stuff like that, but you can't like there's no budget or anything like that. Like you can just do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And it's not as interesting, and you don't really.
That's like Major League Baseball in real life, though.
Yeah, like, and you can't like the storylines are basically in my head. Like it's not like it's written out or something like that. Like that's the one thing that I would love to do with streaming is just kind of be like the voice, like the commentator to like explain the storylines they're going.
That would be pretty cool. I remember watching a whole series where this guy played the game Half-Life and he pretended he was Gordon Freeman's thoughts throughout the whole thing, and it was so good.
Well, have you seen the because I know you're
Dinosaurs? Yeah, I've seen that show.
No.
Would have seen what?
The Polygon series with Pokemon Diamond with one of the Milk Elroy
the McElroy Griffin
McElroy.
Griffin playing through doing the what's that challenge called?
Nuzlocke.
Yeah, doing a Nuzlocke with that series is really fun.
It's fantastic. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah, those are cool. It's pretty a broad scope what people do on YouTube. What makes me uncomfortable about kids in YouTube is like, you know, you have people on there that just like suck, like terrible people like PewDiePie or like JonTron or whoever, and like these like kids will have unlimited access to just listening to this one person's thoughts. Like it's not like a TV show where there's a group of people who created something and there's checks and balances involved. It's just like unfiltered one person's opinion.
Yeah.
And there's like lack of resources for most kids for like anything about interpreting media. Like they don't teach that in school, like understanding like how to interpret media and like differentiate between voice and like what people are trying to convey to you, or if they have an alternative message, or like what's wrong, I guess. I don't know. It's just kind of scary. Kids get into like red pill black hole type shit like that.
Yeah, or like fucking Five Nights at Freddy's stuff like that.
Yeah.
like creepy ass stuff, like, or like Slender Man.
Oh yeah,
like that.
There's like allegedly very creepy like videos that will come up just by being in like watching a lot of kid videos. It'll end up like these super weird, I don't know, people will make very like that seem like kid videos, but they're just really like disorienting and shit intentionally and just like uncomfortable. It's I don't know, shit's weird. I just want to make goofy videos for the internet.
Yeah. And so I hope that was enough of a distraction from this very uneventful episode of Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Zach, who has to edit this.
Yeah, I hope he leaves most of it, but maybe fixes the parts like where we actually got messed up. But no, there were a couple things I still could like talk about with this episode. Like I said, there's a tradition in the show about like religion, traditions and stuff being changed between generations and having a different level of reverence for it.
Yeah, this show there's a lot of meat on the bone for this show. That's why I love this show so much. There's the messages that they were putting out on TGIF on ABC.
Yeah, even within this episode, like Ethel mentions how there's so much fanfare around this like Howling Day. It was supposed to be something sacred when she was younger, so she even has a problem with how the generation that are now adults in the show handle it. So.
Yeah, and plus, like we've learned through other episodes, is that this a lot of the family dynamics and stuff are relatively new in this world. So like people as young as Earl, who's in his 40s, he's
never even been to Europe.
Yeah, he's never even been to Europe, and he can't cope with his son who wants to question everything.
Yeah, it's pretty reflective of reality, because I always feel like things seem like they've been a certain way forever, and you're like, this needs to change, and then you look at it in the grand scope of things, and it's like, man, we've really like you know, there's not that many generations that have even been in our country so far. Everything's so recent and is still like so affected by the past.
I know, and it's so recent that even the oldest things aren't that old.
Yeah, that's the most wisely I've ever heard that put. Succinctly like, put, the most oldest things are not even that old. But...
yeah, like the houses on my street, they could seem old, but they're probably probably built in the 70s or the 80s.
Yeah, and like the world is still extremely racist. And it's fucked up. And there's like, we need to defund police, which is an organization that like started essentially as slave catchers. And like, I don't know, it's just weird because you'll just meet people who just exist and just don't understand how things are connected and don't understand like generational like privilege and developments of things. And it's just so weird that they just walk around like, it's fine, like I'm not gonna fucking look into it because I'm not affected.
Yeah, like I mean, just I knew some of the background, but the other day I listened, my friend, shout out to Steven Ford, has a podcast. It's more of like a history podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And they recently did an episode about the Daughters of the Confederacy, or the United Daughters of the Confederacy. And like, this is a thing that's been around for like over 100 years. Oh. And basically what they did was like, the reason why, okay, so I was having this discussion. I know I'm going off on a tangent, but we were having this discussion about with Issa's mom about the statues and what people learned in like grade school and like what kids learn about like U.S. history.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, so I'm 33, so I'm a millennial, but when I was growing up in like 4th, 5th grade, the history stuff that I learned in my like social studies class or whatever you want to call it, it was like the dark shit. Like I didn't get like the version that like the Daughters of the Confederacy were trying to push, at least in the South, where they would publish like textbooks about how like I never heard the phrase war of northern aggression. Like I've never heard that before.
Oh, I've never heard that phrase either.
Yeah, but it's definitely a thing where they basically would push for textbooks and stuff like that for curriculum that taught kids that the South wasn't that bad. like that's a thing. It
is like a thing, and like pretty popular in a lot of textbooks is there's a lot of information about Reconstruction period that tries to like make it look like Reformation failed because of like black people and like people from the North at the time just weren't doing a good enough job or whatever. It doesn't really bring up any of like the fact that there is people actively trying to make this kind of stuff not work and like trying to make it difficult. But
yeah, like basically because the South seceded, like the Northern Army, the Union Army was like occupying, and like they were like they had to like stay there, and then a lot of former Southern aristocrats and like Confederate generals, they started the Ku Klux Klan as basically like a guerrilla like terrorist organization.
Yeah, well, and that was what I was speaking of with like slave catchers, is a lot of people who were hired in that position went on to be in the Ku Klux Klan and then also reintegrate back into developing police forces down the line.
Yeah, and the Daughters of the Confederacy and stuff like that, they funded, they're like a non-profit organization, but they would raise money to basically fund the KKK, and then they would also turn around and give money to hospitals and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And they commissioned a lot of the statues that were erected basically 100 years later.
Yeah, there people. The whole thing with people talking about preserving history, it's people who literally don't even know where these statues came from or why they were originally erected. So that it doesn't matter to them other than, I mean, they can't pretend it's not because they're being racist. The statues were erected specifically to frighten black people and instill like kind of like a, suggest that they're going to return things to the way they want it to be. And like, it's just ridiculous.
They would be like outside a courthouse.
Yeah.
So to just be like, yeah, you might be going to court, but remember who still rules.
Yeah.
Like,
the thing with textbooks too is just the fact that like I remember reading a whole bunch about how like Texas is one of the biggest factors in how textbooks get distributed because they have the most buying power. Like the textbooks they purchase for their schools, it's such a big state that they're going to purchase so many that those are the ones that are going to continue to be reproduced and like have kind of a focus because that's how capitalism works. It's like they're buying out the market, and like increasing the demand, and so that's why like things that like push different agendas end up being like the popularized tech. Like, you know, I went to school in Kentucky, so we definitely had a bit of I don't know, our textbooks which talked about United States as though we're victors and like this, we're like in the winning team and things are all good forever now and it's all done. It's super weird way. I feel like there's a reason that countries like Germany and Japan have developed to like the current advanced progressive superpowers that they're becoming is because they've had that type of like, we need to get our shit together because this stuff is fucked up. Whereas we've instilled this thing in our country where it's like, nah, we're good. We're the best.
Yeah. Like they had like full blown fascism.
Yeah.
And we just had fascism and like we had like fascism light.
Yeah. We had this like very good at marketing fascism, like I don't know, insidious.
Yeah, it's more of like an underground thing. Like we weren't marching around and trying to annex countries.
So basically Donald Trump is a fucking sellout. He's making it mainstream.
Yeah, basically he's the
offspring of fascism.
He made racism cool again.
It's if the show Dinosaurs only knew.
Yeah.
What's cool is that Dinosaurs is coming to Disney Plus in this fall.
That's right. So by the time this show actually is released, you'll be able to follow along with us.
Yeah, and all of our jokes about how we're recording a podcast for a show that's difficult to find episodes of will be just as bad as the rest of our jokes. It's
yeah. So you'll be able to keep up.
Yeah, to follow along at home.
So yeah, so this is the end of the first season.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the second season because there are like 30 episodes.
Yeah. Do you remember how I mentioned there was originally a laugh track for so when I first read about that, it made it seem like it was like never released, but then I read in multiple sources like on TV Tropes and on IMDb today that when they first aired the first 5 episodes on ABC, there was a laugh track. And like I cannot find any footage of this, and I want to like maybe between this episode and like we're probably gonna have like a in between season bonus episode coming up. I want to like see who I can email or call or something was involved with the show and see if that exists because I just want to know.
Yeah, that would be very funny. And
I'll look through like I have the DVDs. I can look through the bonus features and see if there's anything there, but I can't find anything. I looked up that Teenage Mutant Ninja Caveman thing earlier, and even though I couldn't find I found like t-shirts about it and stuff, I found lyrics to a song parody referencing that.
What?
Yeah, this is, I usually like to read a review at the end of the episodes. In this one, I feel like I'm going to read some parody lyrics because I found this song and I was like, does this happen in the show at some point? Is this something on TV? And not that I can tell. Like, I thought maybe it was like, because in like the Fairly Odd Parents, there is an episode referencing that like references the Ninja Turtles, and like they're called like adolescent genetically altered karate cows.
Yeah.
And they go into like a TV show and you see like kind of the theme ending of the whatever. So I was hoping it was something like that, but no, it's just this guy who has an account on some website, and he just like posts parody lyrics. So yeah, this guy, I'm gonna do a quick read. of these lyrics submitted for no reason. They were never recorded. And he says at the beginning of this, it says a little bit of context. It says Robbie has his Teenage Mutant Ninja Caveman poster in his room from Dinosaurs. And it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Caveman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Caveman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Caveman, Prehistoric Heroes, Caveman Power. They're the prehistoric fighting team, and then one of them named Dave says, "We're really hip." And it says, "They're prehistoric heroes and they're not green. Hey, get a grip. When the evil Shredder attacks, these cavemen don't cut him no slack." And then it goes back to the chorus. It says, "Splinter taught them to be ninja teens. He's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Lawrence is the reader. David is a scientist. That's a fact, Jack. Reginald is cool but rude. Give me a break. Michael is a party dude. Party." Teenage Mutant Ninja Caveman, Prehistoric Heroes, Caveman Power. Why did this guy do this? Tim, he submitted 20 different songs over the course of 3 years to this website, and none of them, he didn't record them. They're just lyrics he wrote. And most of them are the Power Rangers.
I don't know, but I think there is an episode that involves the action figures.
Oh, really?
I think.
I was seeing that there is this mod in Minecraft, speaking of that, where it adds more animals to the world than were already there, and if you collect 4 turtles, they end up having color coded headbands on, and if you kill them, they drop their respective weaponry. And that's interesting. Yeah, so some of the song titles, though, before we go, Pee-wee's Jailhouse to the tune of Pee-wee's Playhouse. Power Rangers Kids Next Door. Super Morphin Mighty Rangers. I don't know why that even... Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters from Elktron Merrill, which is something I don't even know what that's referencing. There's Trash Busters to the tune of Ghostbusters. There's Big Brother to the tune of Ghostbusters, which is a song about how you should watch the show Big Brother. And while you're gone, I read lyrics to one called Beavis Butthead Power Rangers about Beavis and Butthead and Daria and Jane becoming Power Rangers. And Mr. Buzzcut was there.
I guess they just really wanted to put a lot of effort into the songwriting, you know?
I don't know. It's very interesting. I salute this guy and his endeavors. 3 years of submitting these lyrics, and I don't know why he was doing it. I guess that's how I feel about recording a podcast about dinosaurs.
I used to write a lot of lyrics that had no music to it.
Yeah, I write a lot of music that doesn't have music talent to it, so I understand that. But yeah, thanks everyone at home for listening to this very confusing season finale of our podcast and of the show Dinosaurs. Stay
tuned for season 2.
Hell yeah.
I think we're planning on having some guests with us.
Yeah.
So they can watch the show too.
I am excited because I hear that they kind of revamped Fran's costume a bit in between seasons, so we're going to need another Franny.
We're going Yeah, and then I do believe that my namesake is on the next season.
That's exciting.
Introduce Timmy.
I hope that my dad, Mr. Hand Up Me, stays in the show.
Oh, of course.
We didn't even get to mention earlier in this episode where he's doing a news report about how we're all still alive.
Oh yeah,
and he's and now here's whatever his fucking name is with the sports, and the guy's like, oh yeah, throw it to me with 30 seconds left, because they're bickering because they're PHSing.
Yeah, but I forgot that was a bit in the show.
Yeah, but we'll see you soon, and that's not how podcasts work. We won't see you. We won't see anybody because we are all fucking up this quarantine and making it worse. So.
Yeah, unless you're paying for the Patreon video feed.
Which is just a 24/7 live cam of our bedrooms. Which unfortunately, sadly, is very PG for me.
Exactly.
But yeah, how do we sign off the show? Like I'm Ben, hand up me.
And we're gonna need another Timmy.
And please enjoy the extinction.
Yeah, check us out on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
And I think we just have a Twitter.
Yeah, Sinclairity Podcast, Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. I just don't know my handle, so good luck finding me. You'll never catch me alive.
And yeah, follow us and stick around, and we'll be back for season 2.
Yeah, sounds good to me. See y'all later.
All right. Goodbye, and what was it? Enjoy your extinction.
Yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Caveman. Caveman power.
All right. Goodbye.
Hey, Sinclairity fans, it's producer Zach here in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Cave. Man. Ugh. Ben and Tim are too busy congratulating themselves on this week's episode to thank Ska-Toon Network for doing our theme song, the greatest ska version of a TGIF theme song I've ever heard, and the incredibly talented Amy Shenanigans for our adorable logo. You can find Ska-Toon Network on YouTube, and if you're feeling generous, Patreon. And Amy on Instagram at Amy Shenanigans. And hey, if you want to listen to my dumb band, you can find Watterson, with 2 T's, on Spotify or Bandcamp. Don't forget to subscribe to us on whichever podcast platform you worship, and tune in next week for a special episode before we jump headfirst into Season 2 the following week. Thanks for listening.